Let's read the example and pick out the important information. Caitlin needs to rent a car while on vacation. The rental company charges $18.95 plus 15 cents for each mile driven. If Caitlin only has $50 to spend on the car rental, now here's our goal, our question. What is the maximum number of miles she can drive? And then we're asked to round our answer down to the nearest mile. So unlike previous questions, this one isn't giving us a formula. We first have to create a formula for how much it will cost her to rent the car in terms of the number of miles driven. And then we have to determine when that's less than or equal to $50. So let's write down what we know. We're going to make an equation. So let's call, how about M equals the number of miles driven. And I used M because miles begins with M. You can call it anything you want, but it's nice if the letters correspond to the words so that you can correlate them easier when you're looking at your equation. And we want to know, we'll call it C, will be cost. And let me change that to total cost for renting the car. So those are our two unknowns here. The number of miles driven determines the total cost for renting the car. Now we're given two pieces of information about that. So it's $18.95 is the fixed rate. So no matter what, even if she said, hey, I want to rent this car, she doesn't leave the parking lot, they would charge her $18.95. Plus 15 cents for each mile driven. And when you see that each, remember that's going to be a rate. So 15 cents per mile driven. So C, the total cost for renting the car, is going to be the fixed rate of $18.95. And then this variable amount, we have to add on 15 cents for each mile driven. And since we don't know the number of miles driven, that's going to be our M. So 15 cents times the number of miles driven, which we write as 0.15 M. We leave out the multiplication because it's implied. So this represents the relationship between the cost for renting the car given the number of miles. So here they tell us that she only has $50 to spend. So we're given total cost cannot exceed or be greater than $50. And that represents our C. So we're going to find the number of miles she can drive to get exactly $50. So we're going to take our equation, C equals 18.95 plus 0.15 M, and we're going to replace C with 50. So let's just stop and think about this situation. So this is one that I think a lot of students could figure out without using the algebra, but it's important to learn to use the algebra to represent this. Well, if it's going to be $50 and she spends $18.95 just to take the car out, we know that that would leave us a difference of 50 minus $18.95 for the number of miles she could drive. So this difference, let's see, that's $31.05. And then we could think, well, it's 15 cents a mile. How many 15 cents are in $31.05? Well, that's just a division problem. 31 200.05. Divide that, how many 15s, 0.15s are in this? So 31.05 divided by 0.15 equals 207. Okay, so we solved this just by reasoning, but I want you to see that the reasoning through this problem corresponds to the algebraic structure of the problem. So this says if I take m, multiply it by 0.15, and then add 1895, that result will give me the cost, which we want to be $50. So reversing this process to solve the equation, we would first subtract 1895 from both sides. Notice I line this up with the like terms. On this side they cancel. Here we're left with 0.15m. Here we're left with 3105. I hope these numbers are looking familiar. Then, to undo multiplying by 0.15, we could divide by 0.15. So do that on both sides. Here the 0.15's cancel, and we saw just a second ago that dividing 31.05 by 0.15 is 207. So Caitlin can drive a maximum of 207 miles without the cost of the rental going over $50. Notice it didn't happen in this problem, but it said round your answer down to the nearest mile. So if we had gotten 206.8 miles and Caitlin drove 207, and we rounded up, then the cost would have exceeded $50 and she wouldn't have enough to pay. So that's why it says to round your answer down to the nearest mile, because you don't want to go over on how much you spend. But here it turned out to be exactly 207 miles.